Welcome to yet another broadcast. We just celebrated Christmas, and I believe that you are all blessed. In the past few days, we have been looking at a series, looking at the events, the happenings, and the activities around the birth of Jesus Christ, beginning from the message of the angel to Mary, the mother of Jesus, and then the message to Joseph, who was the father of Jesus, and the actual birth of Jesus Christ in Bethlehem, and then the visit by the Magi, and then who are the wise men, and then we have looked at God's the plan by Herod the king to kill baby Jesus. And then today we are going to look at the culmination of this whole series that we've been doing. And today I want us to look at the escape to Egypt and the return to Nazareth. Because after Jesus was born, as we will see, and as we have seen in the previous episodes, Herod the king was looking to kill the baby, and he actually ordered for the killing of all boys under the age of 2, so that Jesus can be killed. But the angel of the Lord, this is where we are going to read. We have been reading from the book of Luke, the Gospel according to Luke, and the Gospel according to Matthew. So today we're going to read from Matthew chapter 2. I'll read verse number 13, and then I will read verse number 19. But again, as I have said before, I want you to go and do some homework and read this whole passage. Read Luke chapter 1 and Luke chapter 2, and then Matthew chapter 1 and Matthew chapter 2. The series that we've been going through, which has 5 messages, is from those 4 chapters. And I know you will be blessed. Now, today I want you to see in this whole, the climax of this whole series is the fact that God is a God with a plan, and He is a God of order. He is a God with a plan, and He is a God of order. And I'm going to explain to you from the happenings during this birth of Jesus Christ. Now, verse number 13 says, when they had gone, now those are the wise men, when they had gone, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. Get up, he said, take the child and the mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him. And then verse number 16 says, I'll read verse number 19 as I said. Then Herod died. After Herod died, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt and said, get up, take the child and his mother and go to the land of Israel, for those who are trying to take the child's life are dead. Now, we begin by looking at how the angel of the Lord appeared to Mary, who was a virgin. And there was no way that Mary could explain, but Mary didn't have any problem saying, be it unto me according to your word. Now, I want you to see how God ordered this thing. Number one, God sent a message to Mary, who was a virgin and betrothed to a man by the name of Joseph, and said, you will conceive and give birth to a son, and you will call his name Jesus. But God also knows that it's a difficult thing. How was she going to explain to her fiancé, the person who had betrothed her, and they were not yet married, they were to get married? See, God is a God of plan. So He went ahead and sent another angel to Joseph, and the angel said, your wife will conceive and give birth to a son. And then God goes beyond that and and he has a series of messages and a series of activities. You see, Mary and Joseph, they were poor people. And you can tell that they were poor, as we saw, by the offering they brought when they presented the baby Jesus in the temple. According to the book of Leviticus, according to the law of Moses, the Levitical law, the parents who got a child, the first child, they were to bring an offering of a lamb into the temple. And if they could not afford that, they were to bring either 2 doves or 2 pigeons. And that's exactly what Mary and Joseph did. When they presented the baby Jesus in the temple, they brought 2 pigeons, 2 doves, because that's what they could afford. They were not rich people. So God knew from the beginning, God foreknew from the beginning that there will be problems down the line when Jesus was born. That Joseph needs to be convinced that this is through the Holy Spirit. The birth is through the Holy Spirit. The conception is through the Holy Spirit. And then God knew that Herod would be looking for the baby to kill him. And so he had planned in advance that he would send an angel. So he sends an angel to warn Mary and Joseph and tell them to go into Egypt, into hiding. But before that happened, they were poor people. How are they going to survive in Egypt? And they are poor people. Imagine leaving your country and going to a foreign country and you are poor. How are you going to survive? What will you be eating? Where will you be staying? And because of that, God knew they would be in need. And so God, when Jesus was born, God led the wise men, the Magi from the east. He led them with a star to the place where Jesus was. They said, a king is born. Go and worship him. And so the Magi, the wise men from the east, they went into the place where Jesus was laying in a manger. And we have already looked at that in one of the broadcasts in the past few days. And they bowed down, they worshipped him, and then they opened their treasures. Now see how God works in a perfect plan and order. Perfect plan and order. They opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, of frankincense, and of myrrh. Just imagine, God knew that he would be sending these people to Egypt and they would be needing these things. And so the wise men, he brings the wise men who have treasures, who have valuable things. And as I asked you before in one of the episodes, have you ever touched gold with your hands? It's something which is pricey, valuable, and expensive. But they needed that because when they would go to Egypt, these are the things that they would be using to survive. And so the wise men, they opened their treasures and presented gifts to him. I'm here to tell you, God is not a confused God. Our God is not a confused God. He's a God of order. He has a plan. And all you have to do is to trust him. Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know the plans I have for you. I know the thoughts that I have for you. Plans of welfare, not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. God knows the end from the beginning. I reminded you that even from the beginning in the Garden of Eden, God created the garden, the animals, and the plants before he created Adam and Eve. He created whatever they needed. He had provision for them before he brought them into the picture. I reminded you that even though God had told Abraham, go and offer your son as a sacrifice, he already had a lamb caught in the thorns, in the bushes, waiting for Abraham to come and offer a sacrifice. God always makes provision even before we get to that point. And we see it happening here. Before he sends them to Egypt, he already has a plan. He has provided the wise men to come and open their treasures and give gifts. He speaks to them. Throughout this period, we see God sending his angel to come and deliver messages. And so he sends a message, go to Egypt. And then when the king Herod dies, God sends another angel, or an angel again, to come and deliver the news. The angel has died. The king has died. Whoever has been planning to kill the baby Jesus has died. And so you can return to Israel. I'm here to remind you and to tell you, our God is a God of order. He has a plan. He has a perfect plan. And so we have all the reason to believe and trust in him. Don't worry about what's going on in your life. Don't worry about your lack in at the moment. No, because God, he has a plan. He's a God of order, and he has a plan. You just have to believe and trust him. How I love this God, because he is not confused. You know, he's not like other gods. All other gods, they are unresponsive, they are dead. But our God is alive. Believe and trust in this God. As we conclude this message of Christmas, I want you to know that our God is a God of order. He is a God with a plan. You can believe and trust in him